tapping in, man. Welcome back to the channel. The most overlooked fact of the GOAT debate. Shout out Danger Productions on the video, man. I reacted to his first video. It went crazy on my channel, my most viewed video. I know we got to check out part 2. Obviously, this video is talking down on Bron, man, for self-proclaiming himself as the GOAT, when in reality, he's not the GOAT. He's not. It goes to Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I know I was brainwashed before I had hopped on YouTube and started doing my research on the game of basketball, man. Stumbled across Michael Jordan, man, and the rest is history, man. Jordan is a different breed, one of one, the greatest basketball player of all time. I don't see nobody in NBA history touching him. You know what I'm saying, man? So before we get into it, like the video, comment down below any videos y'all want me to check out next, and last but not least, subscribe to the channel if you new.
And that's it. Clock will tick. Minnesota is going to win this series and knock out the Lakers, the 3 seed, 4-1.
Damn, Bron.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Let down.
The 2025 season for the Los Angeles Lakers was so unbelievable that it played like a Shakespearean drama, one filled with ups and downs, villains and heroes, and an ending that was both shocking and not shocking at all. But to really understand the Lakers season, we have to rewind a bit to February 2nd, 2025.
A date which will live in infamy.
That's the day the Lakers pulled off one of the greatest heists in modern sports.
Man, the NBA
as
rigged.
they acquired Luka for 7 first-round draft picks. Wait, no, that's not right. For Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, and 4 first-round draft picks. Actually, that's not it either. For Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and 1 first-round draft pick.
Come on, bro. It's obvious, bro.
Serious?
Look, I'm still struggling to understand.
It's rigged.
Myself. Best as we can tell, the Mavs traded Luka because he was, well, a little fat, and he drank too much beer. You know, basically the same reasons Babe Ruth was traded to the Yankees in 1920, and we all know how that one turned out. Don't get me wrong, when healthy, Anthony Davis is still a great player.
Yep.
But that caveat, when
for Luka though,
applies more to AD than just about any other player.
AD stay hurt.
You're talking about a 32-year-old who's missed 135 games over the past 5 years, who was injured at the time of the trade, and in his very first game with the Mavs,
this nigga
got
always
again.
hurts.
Heck, this motherfucker's injury problem was so bad that it turned out to be contagious. Meanwhile, the player that Dallas traded away,
I ain't gonna lie, when he got there, bro, the whole team just got injured out of nowhere.
Literally just led the team to the NBA Finals the prior season.
That's
sure,
crazy.
He doesn't play a lick of defense, but he also nearly averages a 30-point triple-double. And now we're adding that guy to LeBron James, pairing 2 of the best playmakers in NBA history.
You son of a bitch.
And let's not forget
LeBron
Austin
pulling
Reeves,
some
who's nearly
strings.
the 3rd option on the Lakers, but on just about any other team would average 25, 6, and 6. Jesus, Nico, you really couldn't get them to throw Reeves into the trade? Needless to say, the expectations were sky high for LA following the trade. And it didn't take long for their promise to become reality, as a quick 8-game win streak vaulted them up the standings before they ultimately settled into the 3rd seed in the Western Conference.
Tough.
And that seemed to be a fortuitous position, as it allowed them to avoid the side of the West bracket that included the 68-win Thunder, Nikola Jokic's Nuggets, and the scorching hot Clippers. That said, their first-round opponent, the Minnesota Timberwolves, were no slouch. But the Wolves were coming off a somewhat disappointing regular season. Vegas installed the Lakers as 2-1 favorites to win the series, and seemingly every expert agreed that LA would have no problem advancing to the 2nd round of the playoffs.
I think the Lakers win. I actually have them winning in 5.
I think the Lakers are going to beat them in 5.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Damn.
So what you think about that Lakers?
Lakers in 5.
But, as they said, games aren't won on paper.
Shanny crazy.
And when they did play the games, the Lakers did not win in 5.
Not 5, not 6, not 7.
As a matter of fact, it was the Wolves who won in 5, pulling off the major upset.
Damn.
Now, I'm not going to delve into the X's and O's of this series. I'll leave that to the basketball nerds like Zach Lowe and Ryan Russillo, and whoever the hell this guy is. No, seriously, who the f*** is this guy? That said, if you ask me, the Lakers' loss comes
Look
down
at
to
that turnover.
2 words.
Come on, bro.
LeBron James. To be honest, neither LeBron nor Luka played particularly well in the series. But following a season-long trend, the Lakers seemed to play some of their worst basketball when LeBron James was on the floor. Against the Wolves, this was especially the case in the fourth quarter. In his 54 fourth-quarter minutes, LeBron hit just 9 of 27 shots, and the Lakers were outscored by a whopping 40 points.
Bron.
That's terrible.
Now cue the LeBron sycophants who will say,
"What did you expect? He's 40 years old."
"Oh, I don't know. Maybe I expected him to be as good as
He said he the GOAT.
I mean, we've been bombarded all season about how LeBron was still a top 10 player, that he's the greatest 40-year-old to ever play, that he's the oldest player to record
And you got
a
Luka
triple-double,
on your team?
the oldest to ever win Player of the Month, the oldest to ever flop like he got shot by a sniper.
Damn.
And now we can add one more to the list. The oldest player to ever shit the bed in the playoffs. And whether you're a LeBron stan or a LeBron hater, it's an undeniable truth that the end of this season for the Lakers was a major disappointment.
Oh my God.
And let me be clear what I mean by that. I don't mean disappointment in the colloquial sense. I mean, sure, we're all disappointed when our favorite team loses its last game of the season, whether that's in the first round or the last.
Damn,
No,
what the?
what I mean by disappointment is the classic dictionary definition of the term, with a focus on these words: failure to meet expectations.
Damn,
That's
bro.
exactly what the Lakers did.
Yeah.
Remember, they were 2-1 favorites to beat the Wolves, and going into the playoffs, they had the 4th best title odds of any team in the entire league. Yet here they are, after one round, watching the rest of the playoffs from their couch.
Damn, bro.
And meanwhile, the pundits are left scratching their heads trying to find excuses for another
The
LeBron
whole
letdown.
media had the
But here's
Lakers
the more
winning, man. They let the
interesting
whole
point
world
that you
down
won't
damn
hear from the
near.
mainstream sports media. These late-season letdowns by LeBron are actually not that uncommon. I mean, sure, we know about the disastrous 2011 finals against the Mavs. That was such a catastrophic
Jason
failure
Terry
that
put
even the shills on Clutch
Bron
Sports
in a
payroll
blender on
couldn't
a
sweep it
few
under the
plays
rug.
in the finals,
But believe
boy.
it or not,
Jason
there
Terry's
have actually
looking
been
different.
5 times that LeBron has lost a playoff series as a favorite.
Damn.
And in each of those cases, his team was not
5 series LeBron lost as being the favorite? How? Jordan would never. That is crazy, bro. This is one of the reasons why LeBron James is not the GOAT. Bro, you're the favorite to win the series, bro. You gotta find a way to will your team to these victories, bro. If you the GOAT, I don't understand, bro. The GOAT, Michael Jordan, never lost a series that he was favored in. Ever. So LeBron, man, I don't know, dog.
not just a favorite, but a substantial favorite.
Damn.
And peppered within those 5 occasions are also 2 seasons in which LeBron's team went into the year as a top 5 title contender, yet failed to make the playoffs entirely. By my count, that's a total of 7 seasons in which LeBron's team finished well below expectations. 7 seasons that ended in a huge letdown. And even in a 22-year career, that's a lot. It means 1 in every 3 seasons ending in epic disaster. Now, is LeBron James 100% responsible for all of these failures? Of course not. But as the team leader, he gets the lion's share of the praise when things go right. So it's only appropriate that he should get a fair share of the blame when things go wrong.
Yeah.
Now, given that
Agreed.
LeBron's career has lasted so long, many of you may not remember a lot of the letdowns on this list. So it's probably a good idea to do a quick recap to refresh your memories.
Wow. Refresh my memory.
The first of LeBron's letdowns came in 2009, when his Cleveland Cavaliers lost to Dwight Howard's Orlando Magic in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Dwight Howard
LeBron's 7
going
letdowns,
crazy.
This is the one where he
got
deserves
LeBron
the
up out of
least
there.
culpability, because overall, he played pretty well in this series, even hitting a buzzer beater to win Game 2.
Oh, I remember that.
But it's
Over
also a
Hedo
series
Turkoglu.
that LeBron's team undeniably should have won. After all, they had secured home court advantage throughout the playoffs after winning 66 games that year, and Orlando was...
Y'all can't say LeBron didn't have no help too, though. They won 66 games that year. They had a decent squad. Mo Williams.
without
You know what I'm
its
saying? He was
second-best
an all-star
player,
that year.
All-star Jameer Nelson.
Ilgauskas.
While LeBron generally put up good numbers in the series, he also struggled down
There,
the stretch
Dow.
of a few of the games. In the fourth quarter and overtime of the final 3 losses, LeBron shot just 38% from the field, 25% from beyond the arc, and 65% from the line.
No.
This to go along
Look at these numbers. And how many turnovers?
9 turnovers.
Oh my God, bro. Jordan would never put up no numbers that look like this. This is scary to even look at. The GOAT in the fourth quarter in overtime, last 3 losses. LeBron, this don't look good, my boy.
If he had played just a little bit better at the end of those games, perhaps the Cavs advance.
Yeah.
And we wind up with a dream matchup between LeBron and Kobe.
And Kobe Bryant.
And heck, maybe LeBron doesn't go to Miami to start the super team era, and Cleveland becomes the next dynasty. And the history of basketball for the last decade and a half is completely rewritten. But alas, it wasn't to be. As in LeBron's
Damn, man.
I fucked up one time in 09 and didn't beat Orlando.
Preach, brother.
Hey, let's see, taking accountability.
But as I said, the failure in 09 was actually the mildest of LeBron's season-ending letdowns.
The mildest? It's
Letdown
more?
number 2 came the very next season.
Okay.
As LeBron's Cavs once again had home court advantage throughout the playoffs. This time, in the second round, they would face the Boston Celtics, an aging team that started the year fast but played just .500 ball the last 54 games of the regular season. The two teams would split the first 4 games of the series, with the critical game 5 to be played in Cleveland.
Okay, at home.
This was the perfect opportunity
Gotta
for
turn
LeBron
up at
James
home.
to showcase why he was the league's back-to-back reigning MVP.
Ooh, back
and
to
he certainly
back?
gave us a performance for the ages, just not in the way you'd expect.
Oh.
James scored just 15 points on 3 of 14 shooting from the field, as the Cavs would get clobbered in their own building by 32 points.
By 32? Bron, you can't let that happen, bro. As the head of the snake, bro, you cannot let that happen in your own building. Come on.
LeBron's play was so apathetic that the media, the fans, and the team's owner would accuse him of quitting on his team. Needless to say, the series loss, punctuated by that Game 5 debacle, would ultimately go down as a shameful moment in Cleveland sports history. Except for Delonte West, who seemed oddly upbeat after the series, but I digress. Letdown number 3 takes us to Miami, where in 2011 LeBron joined fellow league stars Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh to form a super
Weak
team.
move.
In their first year together, the star trio made it all the way to the NBA Finals, where they would face an aging Dallas Mavericks team.
37, 32, 32, and 33. Damn.
Led by Dirk Nowitzki. The Heat jumped
Past
out to a
they prime.
2-1 series advantage and had a 9-point lead in the fourth quarter of Game 4.
Okay.
But they epically coughed up the game
They
and
choked?
the series. The main reason for the defeat? LeBron James, who averaged less than 18 points in the series, including an 8-point dud in that pivotal Game 4.
No.
Not only was LeBron outplayed in the series by his teammates, Wade and Bosh, but he was also outplayed by the Mavs role player, Jason Terry.
Seriously?
In fact, LeBron's
Jason
performance was
Terry?
so embarrassingly bad, even his biggest acolytes say this.
The 2011 finals is, and I will admit this, it is a meltdown. It is a
Even Nick
giant
Wright
blemish
saying
on the
that he the biggest
Of course,
Bron
they'll
meat
also
rider
have you
ever.
believe that this was the last bad moment of LeBron's entire career.
Bron, 8 points? You let Jason Terry outplay you, gang? Ain't no way, bro.
But wait, there's more.
It's
On
more?
to meltdown number 4. And for this one, we jump to the 2018-19 season, LeBron's first as a Laker.
Oh.
That year, LeBron joined an upstart Laker team flush with young talent, like Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo
He
Ball,
ran all them
Alex
boys out of
Caruso,
there.
Ivica Zubats. Jesus Christ, this team was loaded.
It was.
They were a team that had won 35 games the prior season, and now they were adding LeBron James, along with Rajon Rondo and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. You would think with all that talent, and a player like LeBron who could be the proverbial tide to rise all ships, the Lakers could add another 20 wins to the win column. Which
Okay.
explains why the Lakers had the 4th best title odds of any team heading into the regular season. So how many additional wins did LeBron add to the team?
Let's see.
2, for a grand total of 37 wins.
You cannot be serious.
I'm quite serious, John. Although, to be fair,
What?
LeBron did miss a third of the season to injury.
Oh, okay.
But
But damn.
Even in the 2/3 of the games he played, the Lakers were barely a 500 team. So no matter how you slice it, the season was an abject failure.
Dog.
Now we move to letdown number 5.
5?
And this one comes fresh off the heels of the Lakers' 2020 championship in the bubble. You know, the championship that was supposedly the hardest ever because the players were forced to spend 2 months in a 5-star resort with nothing to do but shoot hoops, play video games, get massages, go fishing, hang out at the pool, hit the greens, and hit the, greens. And all this without having their wife and kids around. So, basically every guy's dream vacation. So as the defending champs, what did the Lakers do for an encore? How about a first-round playoff exit at the hands of the Phoenix Suns?
Damn.
This,
built
despite
to
going
ass.
into the playoffs as the betting favorites. To win the
Good
West,
God.
and nearly a 2-to-1 favorite to beat the inexperienced Suns in round 1. Those odds jumped exponentially after the Lakers won 2 of the first 3 games in the series. But behind a subpar performance from LeBron James, the Lakers would go on to lose the next 3 games.
Where's the
and they would
help side
find
D?
themselves taking an unexpected early trip to
Push, head
course,
down,
LeBron
body
fans would
language.
tell
Like,
you
come
that
on,
the sole
dog.
reason the Lakers were defeated was because of an injury
AD,
that kept
get your
Anthony Davis
ass
out of the
up.
final 2 games. Although that wasn't exactly the prevailing sentiment at the time.
Well, what if Anthony Davis doesn't return for Game 6 at the Staples Center?
The Lakers will win either Game 5 or Game 6.
I don't think they need Anthony Davis to beat the Suns.
We know the Lakers
Crazy.
can get through this series with just LeBron James.
Who embraces pressure? LeBron James. The Lakers are going to win Game 5 and 6, and Phoenix carry the hell on.
Yikes. Regardless of
Let
spin,
them down.
what cannot be denied is that the Lakers' disappointing finish in 2021 only emboldened critics who viewed their bubble championship as a fluke.
Damn.
Asterisk
It
on
ain't
the
gonna have
bottom,
big nothing.
and it's going to say COVID championship.
It ain't have big nothing.
Okay.
And that brings us to letdown number 6.
Damn.
The
6?
2021-22 season, in which the
Letdowns?
Lakers entered the regular season as overwhelming favorites to win the West. After all, they had assembled a kinda, sorta, super team. I mean,
Ooh.
sure, we all look back at the LeBron James-Russell Westbrook pairing as a complete mess. But I think people forget just how productive Russ was before joining the Lakers.
Yeah.
Russ
Damn.
was coming off a season where
He was
put
going
up
crazy in
23,
DC.
13, and 13 the second half of the year. And he was joining a team that already had 2 top 10 players in LeBron and AD.
Yeah.
And not only did they fail to win the West, they didn't even make it to the playoffs. Heck, they didn't even make it to the play-in tournament.
Damn.
Sure, they did deal
They
with
didn't even
some
make it
injuries.
in the
But even
play-in?
in the games that their star trio all played,
God
they were merely a
damn.
500 team. And in the 56 games that LeBron played, they were 5
LeBron,
games
what was
under
that?
500. And I find it silly to use injuries as an excuse, considering that there were a number of teams in the conference
Pat
that had even
Bev on
worse
the
injury
team.
issues and fared just fine. The Nuggets were without Jamal Murray the entire season and won 15 more games than the Lakers.
That's crazy.
The Clippers were without Kawhi Leonard the
Jokic's
entire
different.
season and won 9 more games than the Lakers.
Damn.
The Pelicans were without Zion the whole year and without their top scorer CJ McCollum for 2/3 of the season. And even they finished with a better record than the Lakers. Heck, the Spurs played the entire season with a roster of a bunch of cast-offs from the local YMCA. And even they won more games than the Lakers.
That's crazy.
The bottom line is that with all their talent and all their expectations, the fact that the Lakers failed to even reach the 10 seed is one of the biggest failures in modern NBA
facts.
history.
Just an absolute, unacceptable, unforgivable screw-up of a year.
And that finally brings us to letdown number 7.
Damn, 7
And there's really
letdowns.
not much else to say about this one. The pundits were over the moon about the LeBron-Luka pairing.
I said yesterday I think the Lakers are winning the West, and I feel good about that.
Bro, the expectations went crazy when Luka came.
Needless to say, the expectations were through the roof.
Facts.
But the results were in the basement, as the Lakers'
Damn,
playoff run lasted
bro.
a mere 5 games. LeBron's response to the loss.
I don't lose sleep over that. Like, how did me and Luka lose? There's 8 other guys on the floor.
What?
There's 8 other guys on the floor.
Nah.
Sure. LeBron and Luka closed each contest worse than a white guy running
That's
track.
crazy.
But let's blame the loss on the 8 role players. I mean, you'd expect a smidge more accountability from
You
a guy
feel
whose
me?
team
No
embarrassingly got knocked out
accountability,
in the
bro.
first round.
That's LeBron problem.
I know. LeBron fans will tell me.
But Michael Jordan lost in the first round 3 times.
You're right.
In a
But there's
stacked
massive
Eastern
difference
Conference?
between losing in the first round as a 10-1 underdog with Charles Oakley as your second best player versus losing in the first round as a 2-1 favorite with Luka as your co-star.
Come on,
it's
bro.
all about expectations.
Yeah,
and objectively speaking,
expectations.
LeBron's teams fell woefully short of expectations in each of these 7
so
seasons.
many letdowns.
Now, you might think I'm being a little hard on LeBron, but keep in mind that I'm using the same logic that his own fans use when defending his poor finals record. When you point out that LeBron is a measly 4-6 in the finals, the response from LeBron fans is always,
"That's not fair. Of course LeBron has a losing finals record. He was the underdog in most of those finals."
And you know what? They're right. LeBron should not be crucified for losing to the Spurs in the 2007 finals. Nor should he be criticized for losing to the Kevin Durant-led Warriors in 2017 and 2018. Heck, I'll even give him a pass for getting boat raced by the Spurs in the 2014 finals, in a series that was widely expected to be a toss-up, but which LeBron's Heat lost in historically lopsided fashion. In each of the series I just mentioned, LeBron's team was an underdog, and he was therefore not expected to win. But if we're going to give him a pass for losing as an underdog, then it's only fair that we hold him to account for losing as a huge favorite.
Yeah.
Or for missing the playoffs in seasons where he had no business missing the playoffs. And these disappointing finishes have happened in 7 of his 22 seasons, 1 in every 3 seasons. So the burning question is, how does this affect his legacy? And on a macro level, the answer is not very much. Despite all the season-ending letdowns, he is still arguably one of the greatest players to ever play the game.
Definitely.
But when we talk about LeBron's legacy, what we're really asking is, how does he stack up against Michael Jordan?
He's not nowhere near Michael
And
Jordan,
that's
bro.
where he falls short.
Yeah.
I don't mean that he falls short in the sense that Michael has better advanced stats and more individual accolades and is a more consistent defender, and a
Damn.
superior shooter in the
Damn.
clutch, and has fewer weaknesses and has more championships
Damn.
despite playing less seasons. I mean, sure.
Bars.
There's all that.
He dropping
But
bars.
specifically in terms
Straight
of major
facts.
letdowns, Michael just didn't have them. In his entire 15-year career,
Yeah.
only one time did a Michael Jordan-led team finish below expectations. And that was in 1995, the year Jordan returned from his first retirement, when his
Wow.
Bulls lost in the second round of the playoffs to the
Wow.
Orlando Magic.
But what about those first-round exits early in Jordan's career?
As we previously
Stacked
mentioned,
East.
Jordan was a massive underdog each
One-man
time he lost
band.
in the first round.
What about all those years he lost to the bad boy Pistons?
Similarly, Jordan was a substantial underdog each of the 3 years the Pistons
Exactly.
knocked him out.
What about when Jordan missed the playoffs with the Wizards?
In both years that Jordan was with the
40-year-old
Wizards,
Jordan?
Vegas picked them to finish 9th in their conference. And in both years, that's exactly where they finished. No, the only true letdown of Jordan's career was losing to the Magic in the 95 playoffs.
Yeah,
in
that
a
was his
series the Bulls
only
were
letdown.
favored to win.
And he took
Although in retrospect,
a year
one could
break.
question whether the Bulls should have been favored. After all,
He took a
the Magic
break.
had the best duo in the league in
Yeah,
Shaq and Penny.
Penny,
And
Shaq, they was
also
going
had home
crazy.
court advantage at a place where they only lost 2 games all year.
Yeah.
And as we all know, Jordan only played the final 5th of the season. But as you've probably figured out by now, I'm not a fan of making excuses. The bottom line is that the Bulls were favored to beat the Magic in '95, and they did lose. And a big reason for that loss was that in critical moments of the series, Jordan was not the best version of himself.
Facts.
And that remains the sole letdown of Jordan's entire career.
Yeah.
And a pretty mild letdown at that, especially when compared to the 7 letdowns.
Yeah, this is
in LeBron's
crazy,
career.
bro. Look at this list.
Remember, the least catastrophic of LeBron's letdowns was his 2009 loss to the Orlando Magic. And even that loss was worse than Jordan's loss in '95. For one, LeBron's team was a much bigger favorite.
Yeah.
Secondly, the
They had
Orlando
home court
team that
advantage,
LeBron
too.
faced was far inferior to the Orlando team that Jordan faced. And thirdly, LeBron had home court advantage in the
Yeah,
series,
exactly.
whereas Jordan did not.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, do you want to know how many times Michael Jordan lost a playoff series with home court advantage?
How many?
0.
Damn.
Zilch.
Damn.
Nada.
Damn.
He was a perfect 24-0. Compare
That's
that
a
to
crazy
LeBron,
stat.
who has lost a series with home court advantage 4 different times. So let's review the tale of the tape, shall we?
Damn, bro.
5 times LeBron has lost a playoff series that his team was favored to win. Something that happened to Jordan only once.
Damn.
4 times LeBron lost a playoff series with home court advantage.
Damn.
Something that Jordan never did. 5 times LeBron's team has been ahead in a series only to ultimately lose. Something Jordan did only one time. And that was as a 6-1 underdog. And twice, LeBron missed the playoffs entirely in a year where his team was among the preseason favorites to win the title.
Damn.
Jordan, meanwhile, never missed the playoffs while playing with an actual
That's
contender.
crazy.
And these numbers all speak to one very important thing: dependability.
Facts.
Look, no one is going
reliable.
to win a championship every single year.
Jordan is more
Jordan
reliable
had 9
than
seasons
LeBron.
that he didn't win a title. And LeBron has had 18 seasons where he didn't win a title. But importantly, do you at least make the playoffs when you're supposed to make the playoffs? And when you get to the playoffs, do you at least beat the teams you're supposed to beat?
Yes.
For one of these guys, the answer is clearly yes. For the other guy, the answer is usually, maybe, sometimes. And frankly, this is an underrated aspect of the GOAT conversation. Everyone wants to focus on championships. I get it. Michael has 6 championships compared to LeBron's 4.
Right.
Which is even more impressive when you consider that Michael has played 7 fewer seasons. But what's even more
That's
remarkable
crazy.
is that he was able to attain all those championships without a major misstep.
Damn.
I mean, sure, he took his lumps along the way and had to overcome hurdles like the bad boy Pistons. But he never had any moments that left us scratching our heads thinking,
how in the world did he lose to that team?
Yeah.
And when I look at this graphic, it tells me 2 critical
7
things.
letdowns.
First, when it mattered the most, Jordan was the more likely player to deliver the goods. And second,
I agree.
when it mattered the most, he was also the far less likely player to shit the bed.
Reliable.
And in the results-based world of sports, nothing could be
Iconic
more
moments, man.
Now, is that the only reason Michael Jordan is a superior player to LeBron James? No. There are at least a dozen other reasons, some of which I mentioned in a video I made 5 years ago, titled Jordan versus LeBron, the best GOAT comparison.
This video went crazy.
A video that has generated
on my
nearly
channel.
5 million views. But who's counting? But while the talking heads debate this topic ad nauseum, there's not a lot of focus on letdowns, so I figured it deserved its own video. And there's one other reason why I think these season-ending disappointments are so important to the GOAT conversation. It's because they can't be erased. They cannot be wiped from our memory.
Facts.
These failures are forever stains on a person's resume. And that doesn't just apply to basketball.
They digging up dirt, man.
As anyone who works for a living will tell you, you could be great at 95% of your job.
Yeah.
But if you fuck up a major project, your boss will always remember it. Now imagine if you fucked up 7 major projects. Or you fucked up a project every 3 years. You think you'd still have a job?
Damn.
You certainly wouldn't be winning any awards for greatest employee of all time.
Wow.
Not when the guy you're competing against is just as good as you, but without the screw-ups. Now, I'm fairly confident that after watching this video, there will be a handful of people in the comments section who will say,
"You're being ridiculous. You're criticizing a 40-year-old LeBron for losing in the first round. But when Jordan was 40, he didn't even make the playoffs."
Yeah.
And if you are saying that, well, you clearly missed the point of the entire
LeBron
video.
had more letdowns,
So I recommend you watch it again.
Facts.
As for the rest of you, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. And click the bell to get notified of new videos.
Danger Productions, man. That was another great video from my boy, man. If y'all want to watch the video, link in the description. Damn, that was a lot of letdowns from my boy LeBron. 7 of them. That's crazy, man. And as y'all can see, man, LeBron is not fucking with Michael Jordan, dog. It's not a discussion. What are we talking about here? I was brainwashed a few months ago. Now I'm tapped in, man. Michael Jordan is the real GOAT of basketball. Can't nobody tell me a different answer. In the comments down below, I need my Michael Jordan fans to go crazy. LeBron fans, if y'all feeling some type of way, man, comment down below. Let us know what y'all think. I'm still a fan of LeBron, man, but it's like ever since he self-proclaimed himself as the GOAT, man, it's like people just digging up dirt from the past that people don't talk about for real, and they making videos, and LeBron is getting exposed for all of his meltdowns in his career. If y'all like the reaction, man, hit the like button. Comment down below any videos y'all want me to check out next, and last but not least, sub up, man. If you're watching this video right now and you're not subbed up, what the hell is you doing? Sub up. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video, man.